do. It's called Conversation with the CEO. It's another edition of Conversation with the CEO. I'm always excited about it. Remember, everything we do is about education. We're just trying to teach you something. Listen, there are a lot of people, you want to be entrepreneurs, you want to be your own boss, you want to be a CEO, you want to walk away from the job sometimes. Hey, that's why we're here. We're here to educate on that. We want you to learn so you can grow. We want to get you closer to that day, and it's coming. Now, we got a special guest today, and we go way back. So let me just say this first. I don't want to introduce her off credentials and all that. She got plenty of those, but I want to introduce her how I know her. Okay, it goes all the way back to CBS Radio. You know, there was this radio conglomerate with all these radio stations in there, and I was working there, and she was working there. Literally, at the time, I was so naive. I didn't really know all these stars was in here. Literally everybody in that station at that time has grown to be something phenomenal, something major in the world. And I literally go, wow, I didn't know. Hey, you've been watching the videos. Obviously, you know we love talking about stocks. We love trading. We love investing, right? So why don't you just join the team? You can do it by just making sure you get one of these T-shirts, okay? Everybody versus Wall Street. Go and get it today on our website, thelinchpinbunch.inc.com. I mean, some of the people that were in that building, Gary with the T, Head Crack, who else could I name? But anyway, she was in the building. She is an attorney. She runs Harris Law. She does a lot of partnerships and runs production companies. So, you know, when you see that, you know, that Georgia peach at the end of those films, I'm pretty sure if you look hard enough, you will find somewhere the name Ursula Langford. Let's give it to her. She's with us, superstar down in Atlanta, Georgia, where all this stuff is happening. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. That was probably the best introduction I've had in a long time.
Hey, you deserve it. You know, I'm proud of you. You're in Atlanta. Listen, we lost contact, and I'm really glad to get back with you. But I didn't lose contact of you. You kept coming up. Like anytime you talk about Atlanta in any kind of entertainment business in any way, your name was a name that kept coming up. I said, okay, so Ursula, the go-to in Atlanta if you're trying to do it right. So, you know, talk to me. Like, you know, you started out in radio doing promotions and now you're literally one of the elite attorneys in Atlanta.
I would gander that I am. I would say hope that I am. But yeah, started at CBS Radio in the promotions department, and I looked at it as a disappointment when I got laid off after 9/11. But honestly, now that I look back on it, it actually was a blessing because that's when I went to law school. And so the story was written there from there.
So talk to me about it. So how did you go from law school to entertainment law? And like a lot of people want to do things, right? They set out to do stuff, right? And then you get on that path and then you end up doing something that ain't got nothing to do with what you really wanted to do. How you end up in entertainment law? Because ain't that difficult to do?
Well, it is difficult to do. It's a very tight-knit community, so it's kind of hard to break in. A lot of people don't trust you if you haven't represented a big name at some point. But I got into it. I really relied on my resources and the connections that I made while I was at the radio station. A lot of the A&R reps that we dealt with, a lot of the on-air personalities that we dealt with, program directors. I relied on those relationships. So when I went to law school, when I came out, I had that foundation where I can go to them and say, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. And I need somebody to just roll the dice on me.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, they rolled those dice. Let's talk. Because, you know, I'm going to ask you some real questions. I feel like I could talk to you the right way. I don't want this to be, I don't want this to be like too professional. I kind of really wanted to be like the real talk. Atlanta keeps coming up at the spot, right? Is the success of Atlanta, is it real? Or, I mean, is what we think happening in your life, is that how it's going down? Is that the new Hollywood?
Atlanta is definitely the new Hollywood. There are so many opportunities. There's this push now to get a lot of movie houses and production companies to come to Atlanta to film, to base their productions in and their companies in Atlanta, because it is a mecca. There's a lot of talent here. And fortunately, there's a lot of talent for African Americans, Blacks. You know, it's a lot of talent, a lot of opportunities for us here in Atlanta.
Okay.
But the reality is that you can be very successful here, but Atlanta has been one of those places where it can be cliquish. But you have to really just keep your focus and understand where you're going.
Help me with that. So how do you navigate cliques? Because everybody deals with that. There's somebody watching this right now, right? They're probably 18 years old and they're saying, I want to go out to Hollywood, I want to make it, right? So they going to pack up all their stuff and, sell everything and, sleep in one of them pods, and maybe do, be a server at night so they can go and try to do entertainment, right? The whole time they're out there is like, how do you get over the cliques? Like, how does a person develop a relationship with people who are so guarded and not necessarily open to new people?
One, you have to be genuine. Because you run into a lot of people that are not genuine, but you have to be genuine. You can't get caught up in the hoopla or the hype of that clique. There are those cliques, and you have to realize that just may not be for you. You have to find what your niche is. You have to find those people who support you and encourage you. And I'm going to tell a quick story. I went to law school in Michigan. And so when I came to Atlanta, I had no connections other than growing up here, but those were childhood connections. So I had no real connections in Atlanta to do entertainment law. And I would reach out to this entertainment attorney and they shunned me. And I remember something that Monique, the comedian, said a long time ago. She said, no just means just not right now. And you have to keep going. You have to, okay, you told me no. Okay, there's a yes somewhere, just not right now, but I'm going to keep going. So I would run into people. No, they would tell me, meet me, and then they wouldn't meet with me or they guard the information. But I just kept going. I kept digging because I knew there had to be somebody out there that was willing to give me that information. And you just have to keep going. It's going to get tiring. You're going to want to give up. But the biggest thing is that you can't give up. You have to know that I'm telling you, there is that someone out there who's going to say, I got you. And I ran into a young lady. It was two young ladies, actually. And she had a program. I went to one of her social events, and literally every time I called her, she was there for me. And she got contracts, she guided me through. And then actually I met a lot of other attorneys that were not in the entertainment field. And I told them, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I want to do. And my very first client, which was Tammy Roman from Basketball Wives, was given to me by one of my colleagues who was a New Jersey licensed attorney living in Georgia, who actually befriended Tammy Roman, and Tammy actually needed a family law issue done. So I could do that. So I did the family law issue with Tammy. We resolved it. And she said, well, hey, would you like to do my Basketball Wives contract? Absolutely. I had no clue what I was doing. Like when they say, fake it till you make it, I was faking it through that whole time. I was on the phone like, hey, girl, how do you do this? Hey, girl, what does this mean? Hey, girl.
Oh, my God. I love this. Tell us more. We want to hear the other stuff, too. Keep going.
And then here's the thing. And I tell people this all the time. It's about your resources. Everybody think that if I'm an entertainment attorney, I just have to know other entertainment attorneys or I have to know celebrities. No. You have to know the gatekeepers. You need to know the managers, the production houses. You need to know the secretaries, the administrative assistants. You need to know the talent managers. You need to know the engineers, the sound engineers. You need to know producers. You need to know directors. You need to know people behind the scenes, because those are the ones who, one, have longevity. You'll keep seeing them over and over again. But they're the ones who can say, hey, I know this attorney. Hey, I know this attorney. But also, it's a learning curve too. So I had record deals on the table that I had no clue how to do. But I had a stable of record producers. And I would call them like, okay, what's the points? How do you do points? How do you interpret this? How do you do? And they walked me through every contract, what I should be looking for, what was standard, based on in addition to my legal degree and my training, I rely on my resources that were not even in the legal field. They were in the trenches every day. So people have to understand that while you feel like you have to have everybody up here with you, there are people over here that add to that entertainment industry. You got to know some of everybody you want to make it. Honestly, most of my referrals have not come from other attorneys, have not come from celebrities looking me up. It has come from the celebrities' managers, production houses, producers, directors. They have said, hey, call her. I know her. Or I've called them and I worked a deal, and then there's something came across the table for them. They say, hey, I think this would be great for you. Why don't you give them a call?
Wow. Well, Ursula, what would you tell yourself, the younger you, when you first moved to Atlanta after you got the law degree? What would you say to her right now?
To the one that when I first moved to Atlanta?
Yeah. What you know now, when talking to the younger you, when you first come back to Atlanta, you got your degree, what would you say to her?
Oh, it's so much I would say. One, I would tell her I was proud of her fearlessness and acknowledging that she had no boundaries, which meant that she saw no limits for what she could do. But I also would tell her that, back then you should have learned to say no a little bit more. I said yes to everything.
What do you say no to and what do you say yes to? Because you get these examples, right? Somebody says, hey, you want to do something, you need to go work for free. You need to go do this for free. You need to do this. But when do you say no and when do you say yes in terms of trying to get over that hump of success?
There is a curve where you will do things, free or for a reduced rate just to get your name out there. But that should be a very short learning curve. I mean, it really should. You shouldn't just continue to do it for, 6, 8, 9 months to a year. No, 3, 4 months to get your foot wet, to get the experience that you need. Absolutely. I agree. Interning or volunteering, doing pro bono cases. Absolutely. I would say when to... that's, when to say no. When the amount of work that you have to do is not worth the money that they're paying.
Okay.
Because you can tell somebody, I'm going to charge you $5,000, but this client, and this takes time. It takes time for you to learn and understand what client is a good client, what client is not client, and what client is not for you. And you'll say, okay, listen, this client, listening to them on the phone, they're going to require a lot of work. They seem like they're a little hard to please. And you feel like, okay, I'm going to be billing at least $10,000 but they don't want to pay it. They can't pay it. So you have to take that into consideration. Now, another thing is that you have to know yourself.
Hey, I'm so excited, right? We're always here to help people grow, right? That's what it's about. Well, we also want to help your business grow. So you see me standing here talking to you just like this in the middle of this video? This could be you. We'll give you an opportunity to present your product or your business right to our audience. So again, contact us at thelinchpinbunch.inc.com so we can help your company grow. All right, back to the rest of the video.
You have to know your tolerance. You have to know what type of attorney you are. I will have clients that come to me and say, hey, I want to hire you. And I will tell them off bat, listen, let me tell you one thing. I don't get into personal vendettas. I'm not rude. I'm not disrespectful, but don't try me. I'm going to sit at the table and I'm going to get you the best deal that I can, but don't look for me to fight a personal vendetta for you. I don't do that. I believe in being gracious. I believe in being to the point, blunt. I don't argue a lot. I'm like, listen, that's your side. This is my side. Let's split the baby. Or how can we make this work for everybody? And I'm comfortable with walking away from the table. Ooh. So you have to know yourself. And when you talk to these potential clients, you'll learn which one fits your personality. And the ones that don't, unfortunately, as my grandma used to say, all money ain't good money. You just got to let it go.
Come on now. Look at that now. Come on now. There's somebody that needs to hear that. You were watching and you're about to do that, take that bad money. Say no.
And back in the day, I used to take yes to everything because I thought, I need money. I want money. This is good money. Oh my God, I'm taking everything. And it was the worst thing I could have done. It took away from my family. It took away from my personal time. It stressed me out. And then I learned, okay, what kind of attorney are you? And this is just with anybody that's an entrepreneur. What kind of makeup artist are you? What kind of producer are you? What are you willing to and not to do and not to do? Who am I as this individual? Where do I want to go? And then you start, once you know that, when you start talking to these clients, you start asking them questions. You're interviewing them. They're interviewing
Come on
you.
now.
Interviewing them, because it has to be a fit if it's going to work and be worth your time and your money. So that's one of the biggest things I'll say. I do things free or reduced rate when I call them my passion projects.
Okay.
Passion projects are, I listen to the client. They may not have the money, but I totally believe in their project. I totally believe in what they're trying to do, that I'll go in hands and feet deep, and I'm in for the long haul, because I truly believe. And it's not often that I do it, but when I get that inkling, and it has panned out perfectly for me over the years, because I listen to myself, I listen to what I want to do, where I could take it. And these clients have come back and said, oh my God, I thank you for being that type of person that I had not a dime, but you asked for nothing. I put up my own money to do it, but these are passion projects because I believed in the person or the project that they were doing.
That's awesome. Let's talk about this production company stuff you got going on. I mean, because, we're in a season right now, Ursula, where content is really, we hear this content is king, but now it's really king. The streaming world has completely changed that game, and it's literally forced. You got Amazon, you've got Apple TV, you've got Roku, you've got the regular cable services, the HBO Maxes, Stars. They all want content now, and they're battling for it. Talk to me about this. How's this working out for you?
It's working out perfectly for me. Because I have clients who need to be pitched to these things. And then I also have my own personal projects that I work on that need to be pitched as well. But the beauty about all of these streaming avenues is that you don't necessarily have to wait on a distribution deal. You don't necessarily have to wait on a big production house. You can hire a great production team, develop the project yourself, and get your own channel on Roku, your own channel on Apple TV, and you can do it yourself. I believe that's how Issa Rae got started, putting her own stuff up.
So I went back to college and ended up creating my very first web series using the resources around me. I realized that sometimes when you don't have a seat at the table, you got to build your own.
One thing I did notice too is a lot of the major networks now have subsidiary networks, which are smaller networks, which are actually online. I know UMC is one. Is Black TV? I think it's the name of it. Black TV has one. Okay. I know Lifetime has one. TLC has one. So what they do is they take the project and they put it on their online company. And if it does well, they'll bring it up to the national level. So, there's so many ways, as I say, so many ways to skin a cat now. There's this show called, and I hate to say it, but it's a great show. The content is called Beyond the Pole.
Oh yeah. I think I've heard about that.
Started off online, and then it got moved it got moved up. So that's just a way of saying that. Stop looking for, you got to have the big apple right up front. Stop feeling like that's do it yourself and put it on your own channel, or team up with somebody who has an individual channel. Or if they offer you, the Netflix, or they offer you the online network, take it, but make the best production that you can, so that they say, I want this on my major network. I want to move this up, and then somebody else wants to buy it, and somebody else wants to buy it, and then you started your own. And also be creative. There's so much talent out there, but I think a lot of people are still taking the shortcut. And no shortcut. Put in the work.
So give us a list of how to avoid taking the shortcut. Give us a short list of how to avoid taking the shortcut so that we don't do that. Because sometimes people do stuff not knowing that they're doing that, and we want to speak to that person.
Build the relationships. Spend the time to build the relationships. Spend the time to learn your craft. So many people say, I want to produce or I want to sing or I want to act, but they don't invest in their own craft, their own talent. They just say, I'm just going to go and audition this. And you're spinning your wheels. You may be talented. You may be a beautiful model. You may be a great writer. But one, you've got to network. You got to let people know that you're out there and what you can do. Spend time on your online presence that shows what you're doing.
Okay.
Put up your portfolio. Put up some of your reels. Put yourself out there. Get into these networking events. Go to some of these film festivals. Get to know these people behind the scenes. Again, get to know people outside of your particular genre or your particular area of entertainment. Because it may be somebody, if you're a model, there may be someone in the record industry. There may be someone that's in the television industry that can help you. You have to think globally, broadly, and not so limited and so narrow focused. Okay. Just really invest in it. Take classes. Do the homework. Read. I tell people the most important thing for me, when I tell a lot of my clients, I can negotiate your contracts and tell you what's going on all day long, but nothing beats you spending the time to learn the business of your business.
I like it. You up here giving us some nuggets. They're gonna have to replay this because there's so much in here. You can't unravel this in one sitting. It's impossible. And speaking of, let's talk about family life. How's your family life? And I want to know. I want to be nosy. So talk to me. Like, catch me up.
So I have, when I was at CBS Radio, I had a daughter while we was there. She's now 20 years old at Howard University. Ooh. She's in her senior year, and she's actually a film and television major. Yay!
What?
Yes. At the age, and I'm going to toot my horn on my baby girl because
you better.
Because at the age of 16, my daughter had already served as an assistant a director. She'd done numerous production assistance jobs. So she had a very lengthy resume prior to like 18 years old. And now a lot of people and producers and directors that she's worked with in the past, they're calling me and saying, hey, is she available? Absolutely. When do you get her?
That is so. How does it feel to be a mother of, and like your daughter's senior year, Howard, historically Black college, one of the best in the world? How does it feel having that type of success, and knowing that you played a role in that? Man.
But it feels good because there's nothing like seeing your children come into their own, to navigate life on their own, and to be able to make decisions and make great and wise choices that will benefit them for their lifestyle, that can set them up for life. So it's like I took my horn about my baby girl all the time, and I'm so proud of her. And she's shy, so she's like, Mom, stop.
I'm proud of her. Hey, I'm proud of you too. I was in your life at some point, I'm sure, because I was back with her when she was young.
She was a baby, but now I have a 7-year-old son. So,
wow, how you doing?
He just came here, and I was like, nope, wait a minute.
I don't know how you do it. I got a 2-year-old son. And Antonio Johnson the second. Ooh, and let me tell you something.
Ooh. What were we thinking?
Ooh, my gosh. I'm telling you, I just be praying. But anyway, Ursula, let's talk about my thing I'm interested in now. All the people that we worked with and what they're doing now. Did you even think, like, how did they get that much talent in one building?
And I look at it and I say, wow, we were really some talented people, and we were some very genuine and loving people. Like, I still keep in contact with pretty much I would say about maybe 70% of the people that we work with, because they're just beautiful people. They were just beautiful people with beautiful spirits. And I just love seeing them have families and then go on to be so successful. But back then, I knew we were a great group of people, but when you're that young in your 20s, you kind of just don't grasp it. You're just living life at that point.
I'm with you. I'm like, because I say, wait a minute, we literally all worked in the same building. Who was smart enough to get this type of? Because I don't think people do that anymore. When you watch an old episode of not Different World, is what the shoot off of Bill Cosby's Lisa Bonet. What's the name of that?
Yeah, Different World.
It is Different World. Okay, cool. See that? Okay. When you watch Different World and you really look at it, you'll be like, wait a minute, who is that? Jada Pinkett? What? It's just like all these people and I don't really see that as much now. But how did they do that? How did they gather that kind of talent? What are we missing today that no one gets to gather that type of talent in the same place?
Camaraderie. I think what's missing now is camaraderie. If you think about it, we had each other's back then. We worked together. We joined together. We worked as a network because I think we kind of looked at it as like, it's us against everybody else. Now I feel like everybody's feeling like it's me against everybody else. And I want to be better than this person. I want to outdo this person. I want to keep all the money, keep all the shows, keep all the ticket sales. To me, it's gotten a little selfish. Then everybody was trying to help everybody out because I remember working with Chris Ayers over at Universal and Ursula and Verity and Tanika, she was, I can't remember what she was, Def Jam, all of those guys and girls. And literally we worked together. Okay, listen, I need this and I need tickets to this for this client. Okay, if I give you this and I need tickets to this for me and I need this. We really brought each other along. We really supported them. Yeah. If somebody was having a listening party, was throwing a listening party for the artist, we were there. If Pete or Carmi or even Drew Dawson were having a listening session for new music, we could count on anybody to come in and sit in those meetings and give great feedback and not feel like somebody was taking their job or trying to be better than them. We literally was like, what do you think? Well, let's do this together. I know I'll tell you a real quick story. I don't know if you remember Patricia Castillo.
Mm-hmm. I remember her.
This apartment. And I remember she was over Hot, and then Lisa Brown was over the jazz station. And I remember when Lisa was getting ready to leave, and she came to me in confidence and said, Ursula, I'm getting ready to leave. She said, I want to teach you what I do because I think you're the best person for this job. And I was just Rob's assistant at that time. And I said, okay. So she taught me everything she knew. And she left. Patricia comes along and Patricia continued to help me because I stepped in the role temporarily while Rob interviewed for people. And I was a little slighted because I was like, you don't consider me, but okay. Yeah. Patricia came along and she was like, I'm gonna show you other stuff. And I remember when it was when Cisco came out with his solo album, Unleash the Dragon.
Yeah.
And Rob asked Patricia to write a promo for his release for the station. Patricia came to me and said, I'm gonna let you do it. And I remember I wrote it. It was called Unleash the Unleaded. And I had a gas tank with the snake tail, which was actually the pole, and it was Unleash the Dragon. And I wrote the whole press release. And she took it to Rob. Rob was like, oh my God, this is phenomenal. Patricia, you did a great job. She said, I didn't do it. Ursula did. Wow. So that's what I mean about that's what we did back in the day.
Yeah.
We helped each other out. We looked out for each other. We saw the talent in one another and we helped cultivate that talent. I don't see that as much nowadays.
What do you think? Do you think social media and just this whole trying to, show everybody what you do all the time and trying to compete, because everybody competes on their own level, right? Somebody who has more money in the bank than me, he ain't looking at me as the comparison. He looking at the guy above him. You know what I mean? So, when Will Smith did the Drake song "In Your Feelings," when he took it to, he did it from top of something. I can't remember what it was, but like everybody was like, "Oh, shut that up," But how are we surviving in this world and keeping our own self-image while looking at so many people that look like they're being super successful in front of us? How do you do that? What do you think about that, Ursula?
One, you just have to know yourself. You have to be true to yourself. You have to be genuine to yourself. You can't get caught up in what you see. Perception is not always reality. You can't keep up with the Joneses or the Cardis or the Beyoncés. You got to find your own lane, your own niche, and you do that. But I think this era of instant gratification social media has taken away the surprise of a lot of stuff, the quality of a lot of stuff. It's great for what it's intended to do, but I think it does detract and influence our younger generation to feel like they have to have something and they have to have it right now and have to do it by any means to have it necessary. And they have to look like this person and be like this person. We didn't really do that. I mean, like, yeah, we had Michael Jackson. We wore a beaded jacket and, we wore the hairdo and all
that. Was to honor him, though. We wanted to honor Mike. It wasn't about proving nothing.
Absolutely. But everybody walked their own path. Now it's like all the music sounds alike. Oh, Lord, please don't nobody get on me about saying that.
Oh, yeah. T-Pain got beat up for that now. So you sure you want to do that?
I love T-Pain. I love and T-Pain can blow. He can sing. Like, his mother and I are good friends. And when I say his mom actually played a song for me, and I was like, he can sing. And then he won the Masked Singer because he can sing. He can. Everything's so cookie cutter. And all the girls look alike. All the guys look alike. If you ask everybody's name is little something, young somebody, like, where's the uniqueness, the genuineness? Where is it? I have a hard time finding it.
It seems like while you're waiting on someone to be unique, you struggle with the person. Now, wait a minute, how they get 6 million followers? Let me see what they're doing. It's like they're valuing followership and views over the actual content. You know what I'm saying? Because
if value getting butts in the seat and record sales based on talent and giving a great show, great show. I mean, we had our few, hiccups here and there, but for the overall, let me tell you something. That's why 90s music will always be sampled, always be played. That's why they're still booking concerts and selling out arenas. And because 90s music, I think, understood it. I think 80s music stood it. I think 70s music understood it. The newer, I think they can understand it.
Are there any classics? Yes, it is, because I gotta give it to Silk Sonic. That's gonna be a classic from here on out. So I was about to say, is there any classics today that will be listening to?
There are a few classics today I can hear, that will probably play on for years and years and probably be sampled. But I think that's small compared to the amount of classics that we have. We have true legends. How many artists nowadays do you think will be true legends in about 10 to 20 years?
I can't think. Honestly, I can't. I'd be scared to say right now.
And will the definition of legend have to change to accommodate that?
It probably will. It probably will. Like, I don't know. It's different. I feel like we worked harder. I feel like that. I feel like we worked harder, and I'm not knocking that.
No,
I don't want to hate on nobody's success, but I think they get, to me, if it seems like they get it a little quicker without all the necessary thing. Like, if you made it big in our time, you had friends you needed to celebrate it with, because there's no way you were going to make it without the friends helping you. You understand what I'm saying? These folks today, they can make it. Huh?
What? I said, you need street teams. You needed
your street team. You couldn't
promotions. Like, they just throw it up on the internet.
Yeah. So, they having this major success, Ursula, but then they in a room by themselves. After the success, when they go home and the lights are out, they ain't got nobody around them that they trust. One of the things I do respect, two people I respect in the industry, and tell me who you respect. I want to know who you respect. I respect LeBron James and Kevin Hart. And the reason I do because their team, the people that are in their lives right now, are the same people that they were cool with back then. I value that. That means something to me. Like, he made his partners successful. Like, it ain't just him. You know what I mean? And to me, it's like, it's like the way they did with that TV show, America's Got Talent, when the guys came to perform and then they put them together. They didn't even know each other. None of those groups lasted. Any groups lasted that P. Diddy put together, are they still together?
Now they're on that new summer. No, stop.
I'm just saying, you can't force a real relationship. I just think it's missing.
Right.
The success make people forget the relationships with folks. You know, how you really care about, like, I'll check on you and I'll make sure you all right. And I ain't gonna just assume the world is great because you put up 2 Instagram pictures like you enjoying life. You know what I mean? Where is that, Ursula? Help me.
Lovely.
All right. Okay. I ain't get on here to rant. Let's talk about your artists, the people you represent. Like one of them you represent, they got something new coming out. I do want you to talk about that because I think that's awesome.
Absolutely. I work with the group Silk, 90s legendary group Silk. One of my personal clients in that group is Jimmy Gates, and he has a project coming out. Man, when I say they're bangers, oh my goodness. We put up a couple, because part of my production company, we do the social media for him. And we put up a couple samples. You can go follow him at Jimmy Gates of Silk and Instagram and Facebook. So,
okay. Hey, come on now.
Go listen to the music. He's coming out with an individual project, hopefully by the end of this year. It's amazing. I cannot wait to hear it. Lil G actually did a release party earlier this year. He had a banging album. And John, one of the other lead singers, he actually did a album release on, I think it was June 26th.
Okay. And
he did a live show, amazing talent. So they're now, doing their own solo things, but they're still together. But the level of talent, and they're able to stick together, but still spread out and say, look, I'm gonna do this for myself. So I'm just proud of Jimmy because he is doing such an amazing, he's really working hard. He's getting back to his roots of his musicianship. So
all right. In closing, because I can't keep you all day. I could talk to you all day.
I could talk to you all day.
I could talk to you all day, or so I'm telling you, because I can't.
Let me tell you this: one of the most impeccable and amazing people that I've ever worked with is Teddy Riley. And I tell you, people say, oh, he's hard, he's mean. His birthday is the day after mine, so I get him. I totally get him. But he's one of the smartest guys to me. He's very talented, but he's smart and he's always thinking. He's always trying to create. And that's part of that, what we did. Always being different and working hard and ingraining yourself. But I just want to put that out because that was an amazing experience. And he and I still talk to this day. I can call him up and say, hey, Teddy, how you doing? When I was in Vegas the past weekend, I call him and say, hey, are you in Vegas this weekend? He's like, no, not this weekend. So, that was one of my highlights of my career is when I got the opportunity to work for him. And that relationship goes back to me saying, you got to know everybody. I met him through his bodyguard. And his bodyguard, I met him through his bodyguard, and his bodyguard just kept pushing me. He kept pushing me my name. And I knew, at that point, I knew of Dave Hollister. I knew Dave Hollister, and I knew Damien of Guy. So, I would pop up at their shows and, hey, Teddy, how you doing? And then I would make sure I kept in contact with the guys, and I make sure I kept in contact with the music, the sound people, just different people. And then one day I got that call from Teddy. Hey, what you doing? Hey, I need some legal representation. Absolutely.
I love it.
I know we can talk all day long.
You know what? Just listen. Just promise me I'm gonna get you back. Just promise me you're gonna come back. We'll do a part 2, and we'll discuss some other things. But I'm out of time. My team will get on me. They say I'll be going too long sometimes. So I'm listening to you guys. I'm not gonna go. I literally cheer you on, and I'm always proud of you. Just know that, like, it is an honor to know you, to be able to see you just shine bright, make a difference in the world, and just inspire so many people. So I personally want to just tell you that. Thank you so much for stopping by, hanging out with me, and sharing your story and blessing somebody. Can you just give somebody, a young person who wants to be a CEO, who's thinking about doing it, just a little bit of advice in your close or whatever else you want to do? Please do.
I like to lead with little nuggets of thoughts. One is you can't do much about the width or the length of your life, but you can do a lot about the depth of your life. Okay? Make it count. They say that from that dash, make it count. But you also have to understand, be who you are. Be unapologetically who you are. And know that there are no boundaries for you. Somebody else's ceiling is your floor.
Come on now.
So do it. Don't let, that's how I say, I'm leaving it at that.
If you want to, if people want to reach you and get in contact with you, get you for services, to learn something from you, maybe even reach out to be a mentor, how can they do that?
I love being a mentor. You can reach me. The easiest way probably to reach me is on Instagram. I actually have 2 pages. I have a business page, which is legally_URS, which is legally yours or Urs. Hold on. Can you see it? That right there.
I see it. There it is. There it is. Boss lady.
So it's legally_Urs, which is my business page. And then personally, if you just want to follow me, follow my story, follow some of my journey, clients on the road or whatever, you can reach me at Ursula, URSULA_ESQ. Okay?
All right. And I'm going to put this information in the description down at the bottom so you can just click the link so you ain't got to worry about remembering what she just said. It's going to go in the link down at the bottom. Okay? So just click that, reach out to her. Hey, thank you again. Okay?
Thank you. And we got to stay in, okay? We got to.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not out your life. I'm in it now. You gonna get a call from me every other week, and I'm gonna be checking on you. Okay? Don't you even
visit that beautiful place where you live.
You gotta come to Sarasota. Just please. I'm gonna take you. My favorite spot to eat here is Michael's on East. That's the street is called Michael's on East. That's my favorite restaurant here. It's local to Sarasota, and they treat you special. So when you come, we going to Michael's on East. Okay.
Okay. It's a deal.
Right. All right. Remember, that wraps up this edition of Conversation with a CEO. Our whole goal is always just to help you learn, help you grow. We're here we want to give timeless information. Okay. Remember, if you're not learning, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying.